Iran. It dominates the news. Conflict, tension, secret alliances, and nuclear ambitions. But what if I told you this story isn't new? What if Iran's entire journey from ancient beginnings to a climactic future was already written in the Bible? Not under the name Iran, of course, but Persia, a land mentioned in Scripture from Genesis all the way to Revelation, a nation whose destiny was foretold thousands of years ago, both as a chosen instrument and a future adversary. Today, we uncover that story, one that began after the Great Flood. Number 1. After the Flood, the birth of nations. In the book of Genesis, we find Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, repopulating the earth. From these lineages, nations emerged. Among them were Magi and Elam, the forefathers of what we now call Iran. Magi, son of Japheth, settled in the northern mountains, today's northwestern Iran. His descendants, known for their rugged resilience, would later be known as the Medes. Elam, son of Shem, settled in the lush southwestern region near the Persian Gulf. His people became the Elamites, powerful enough to wage the Bible's first international war. In Genesis 14, 4 eastern kings, including Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, invade Canaan. They take captives, including Lot, the nephew of Abraham. But Abraham, with just 318 trained men, defeats them. A miraculous victory, and the first biblical encounter with Elam. Number 2. From tribes to empire, the rise of Persia. Time passed. The Elamites and the Medes, once scattered tribes, began to consolidate. Clans became kingdoms, and out of those lands a new force emerged, the Persian Empire. Though they worshipped foreign gods, Persia was never outside God's plan. Through prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah, God made clear his intention. Persia would first punish Babylon, the empire that destroyed Jerusalem, and then liberate his people. Isaiah even named the future Persian king over 150 years before he was born, Cyrus, a pagan ruler who would become God's chosen servant. Number 3. Daniel's prophecies, the Silver Empire. While Babylon ruled, a young Hebrew captive named Daniel rose to prominence. Because of his faith, God granted him visions that revealed the fate of empires. King Nebuchadnezzar dreamed of a massive statue made of different metals. Daniel explained the meaning. Babylon was a head of gold, but next would come a kingdom of silver, 2 arms, 2 nations united, the Medes and the Persians. Persia would rise, surpassing Media, and take control. And when Babylon fell, it happened just as prophesied. Cyrus diverted the Euphrates River, entered Babylon without resistance, and seized the throne. That very night, the Babylonian king was slain. And then, the impossible happened. Cyrus allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem. He financed the rebuilding of the temple. Persia, a foreign empire, became the only pagan nation in the Bible to restore Israel. Number 4. The bear and the ribs, a warning vision. But Persia's story didn't end with kindness. In another vision, Daniel saw a massive bear rise from turbulent waters, raised on one side, with 3 ribs clenched in its jaws. A voice cried out, "Devour much flesh." This bear represented the Persian Empire. The raised side, Persia's dominance over Media. The 3 ribs, its greatest conquests, Lydia, Babylon, and Egypt. Each was devoured in turn, as Persia's power stretched from India to Ethiopia. Number 5. Esther, the queen who saved a nation. In the Persian capital of Susa, another remarkable moment unfolded. A Jewish orphan named Hadassah, known by her Persian name Esther, was chosen as queen. Her rise wasn't just a fairy tale, it was divine intervention. When a royal advisor named Haman plotted to exterminate all Jews in the empire, Esther risked her life. She entered the king's court uninvited, a move punishable by death, unless he extended his golden scepter. He did. At a banquet, Esther exposed Haman's plot. In a stunning reversal, Haman was hanged on the very gallows he built for Esther's cousin Mordecai. The Jews were saved, not by armies, but by one woman, and a God who placed her there. Number 6. The ram and the goat. Persia's fall foretold. Years later, Daniel saw another vision. A ram with 2 horns, Media and Persia, charged in every direction, conquering lands. But suddenly, from the west, a goat appeared, swift as the wind. It struck the ram, shattered its horns, and trampled it. This was Greece, and the single horn, Alexander the Great. Though Persia seemed invincible, Daniel foresaw its end centuries in advance, and history proved him right. Persia fell, but its story wasn't over. Number 7. The Magi, Persia and the Messiah. Centuries passed. Then, in the days of Herod, wise men arrived in Jerusalem from the east. "We have seen his star," they said, "and we've come to worship the newborn king." These Magi weren't just stargazers. Many believed they were descendants of Persian scholars, perhaps even trained in Daniel's legacy. While Jerusalem ignored prophecy, it was Persia, the land of exile, that recognized the Messiah first. Number 8. Revelation, the final chapter of Persia. But in the final chapters of Scripture, Persia returns. In the book of Ezekiel, a terrifying prophecy unfolds. A vast army will rise against Israel in the last days, led by Gog of the land of Magog. Among the named allies, Persia. The same nation that once helped rebuild Jerusalem will stand among those who threaten it. But their assault won't succeed. God himself intervenes through earthquakes, fire, and divine confusion. He declares, "I will show my greatness, and all nations will know that I am the Lord." A warning and a promise. Persia, modern-day Iran, is woven through the entire biblical story. From rescuing Lot, to raising Esther, to welcoming the Magi, to standing in a final war. Its destiny mirrors humanity's own. Chosen, fallen, judged, and one day redeemed. Yes, the Iran we see in headlines today may seem far from God's plan. But prophecy reminds us, even in judgment, there is always space for redemption. Persia's story is not just about kings and conquests. It's about what happens when a nation turns toward or away from God. So, what do you believe? Are we seeing the prophecies unfold in our lifetime? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this message resonated with you, share it. Because history isn't just repeating, it's being fulfilled.